Here's a question for you. Can you trust an OEM SSD drive that arrives in bubble wrap? What's up everybody, it's PJ the Great. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today I am going to share with you another SSD drive that I picked up. This right here, this is the Micron 1100 2TB SSD. Now this right here, the Micron, this is a OEM model. And for those of you that don't know what OEM model means, it means that a company will manufacture like a bunch of these SSDs like Micron has, and they will sell them in bulk to like different companies that are building like computers. Another thing, they sell these to like people who are looking for like multiple SSDs to use on like servers or things of that nature. That's where these OEMs come into play. And then the public can actually take advantage of these discount SSDs because these companies make these things in bulk, and sometimes they probably have way too many. So they need to dump them off somehow. So that's how we reap the benefits. I picked this thing up on eBay. It was $285 for 2TB SSD storage. I was like, wow man, that's like an amazing deal, because we all know how much those Samsung SSDs cost. I mean, they cost like, sometimes for 2 terabytes, double this or almost double this. So I was all about it, but of course I did my research, and I've actually seen like a lot of people rave about them. They say that they're actually pretty good SSD drives. I've seen a lot of people say, hey, yeah, it makes a great, you know, SSD for my Steam storage, or it makes a good SSD for like storing like videos or photos or things of that nature. I am actually going to throw my OS on this, and I'm not even going to hesitate to do it because I think this is a good brand. A little history on Micron. For those of you guys that do not know, have you ever heard of the Crucial SSD drive? Yeah, Micron owns Crucial. So that should like alleviate some of the doubt that this is going to be a good SSD drive that's going to work for you and stand the test of time. I did a lot of research online. I mean, like a lot of research before I decided to pick this up. And what I found out is I found on a message board, and this was a comment straight from someone who worked for Crucial, and they said that this Micron 1100 is the equivalent of the Crucial MX300. It's the same drive. Now I know the MX300 is an older model. They have the MX500 out now, depending on when you're watching this video. But when I found out that it's an exact copy for this price, I mean, that's cool. It could say Micron on it all day. As long as it has the same specs of that MX300, I'm cool with that. So I'm gonna throw this thing in my 2010 Mac Pro, and I'm expecting to see like a huge boost in performance. For those of you that don't know, you probably do know, the Mac Pro towers, the old towers, the silver like cheese graters, they only have SATA II. But that doesn't, you know, bother me, because I mean, you're still gonna see an increased speed over a hard drive. Currently my boot drive is a 4TB SSHD by Seagate, and I'm expecting this to like pretty much outperform that. Now I did two other videos. One was on that Crucial SSD drive, and then I did one on the Inland Professional SSD drive, and then I bought those little bays that look like the IC dock to put them in the SATA II ports. I'm gonna do something a little different with this one since my OS is gonna be living on it. I picked this guy up. This is the OWC Accelsior S. Basically what this is a 2.5 to PCIe 4 adapter for your SSD drive. It's supposed to allow you to get true SATA III 6G speeds in an old Mac Pro tower. So I was like, yeah, if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go all out. So I want to try and get the full speed possible. I'm gonna do a benchmark, and then after I do the benchmark, I'm actually gonna do like a real world test, because that's what everybody cares about. How does it perform in the real world? So I'm gonna do tests on that. I'm gonna show you currently with the SSHD that I have in there, how long it takes to boot up my Mac Pro. And then I'm gonna show you how long it takes me to open up Final Cut Pro 10, because that's what I primarily use that Mac Pro for. I'm gonna show you those numbers, and then immediately afterwards, I'm gonna show you how long it takes to boot up with the Micron SSD as my primary drive, and show you how long it takes to open up Final Cut Pro 10. Okay, before I get it installed, I just wanna go ahead and show you this. I just unboxed it. PCIe adapter for your SSD. You just slide the SSD right in there, and then you put this in a vacant PCIe slot. These are supposed to still get you full speed if it's in the ×4 slot. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this installed right now. It's in there, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And you got your little screws or screw holes on the back there. Put my screws in there, make sure it's nice and secure. Then we're ready to rumble. Okay, so I just finished installing it. I was about to put that on there, but I'm gonna show you if I can show you in there. Let's see if I can shed some light on this, just in case you're curious. Can you see that? There it is right there. All right, so now it's real world test time. First with the 4TB SSHD that I have in here as my boot drive. I just want to show you guys how long it takes to boot up using that. So I'm gonna go ahead and power it on. So we're looking at 2 minutes and 38 seconds. Shave a little bit off for having to enter my password, but to be honest with you, I don't really recall this thing taking that long before. Or maybe I just wasn't aware because I wasn't timing it. 2 minutes and 38 seconds, wow. Okay, so now I'm ready to show you how long it takes with the SSHD to load Final Cut. So I'm gonna go ahead and click and start. Real world hiccups, guys. I want to show you something here. So it's showing as an external SSD. I don't know if I'm going to be able to boot my OS from here. We'll find out. You see there, I'll get my full speeds. 505 write, 435 read. But the burning question is, am I going to be able to run my OS there? I should be able to, because you can run OS from an external drive. I just don't know why it's showing as external, but oh, we'll give it a shot. Okay, so carbon copy cloner has always been my poison of choice when cloning my drives when I swap them out. Carbon copy cloner does not support APFS, and I formatted this Micron to APFS, so I had to use Super Duper. I never used it. I've heard good things about it. Okay, we are back finally after roughly 2 hours of cloning the SSHD over to the Micron 1100. Now I'm going to do a cold boot. I have it set up now as my main boot up drive. Press the button. I'm going to wait for my bong. thing is flying now. So that's roughly 50 seconds. As before with the SSHD, it took like over 2 minutes. That's fast. Next test we're going to do, Final Cut Pro. "24 seconds. I'll take that for certain. Okay guys, now the next question is trim or not to trim? That is the question. I've been doing a lot of research online because that's what I do. And there have been mixed reviews about trim on third-party SSDs for the Mac. Some people have claimed that they didn't see anything change, their system got faster or stayed the same. But some people have been claiming that enabling trim on third-party SSDs has slowed down their machines. I think trim is a good idea. Now this Micron 1100 does have built-in like garbage collection. There's a difference between garbage collection and trim. Garbage collection, it does take like the erased data that's on your SSD that kind of just sits there. It'll clean it up, but it'll clean it up in idle where you're not touching the machine but it's on, and it takes a while. Whereas trim is kind of like garbage collection on steroids, so to speak. It does it as you're working, and it says it works in conjunction. I think it's a good idea. I'm gonna see if I notice any depletion in my boot up times and my booting up like apps. I'm gonna see if that's gonna affect it. I'm gonna enable the sudo trim here on this 2010 Mac Pro and see if we notice any differences. The good thing about it is if we do, we can always enable it. So it's not like we can enable it and we're stuck. If we don't like it, we can disable it. It's a fresh clone, so it's a better time to do it now than later. So let's give it a shot. And just so you guys can see here, trim support, no. Micron. And I don't have trim support on those other two SSDs either. So let's try that sudo command and get trim support. And here's that disclaimer that I've been reading online. When you use the sudo trimforce enable, right, Apple warns you pretty much they're not responsible if you lose your data, back up your data just in case something happens, yada yada. I have time machines, so I don't know, I think I'll be good. Plus I'm going to save my old 4TB SSHD as a backup just in case anything crazy happens. So let's enable it. Now we got trim support on the Micron. Let's check those other two SSDs. Inland Professional trim support. And that Corani trim supported. Let's do a cold boot to see if we really lost anything with adding trim. So yeah, adding trim did slow it down a little bit, but I'm still booting up in half the time I was with the SSHD, so I'm not complaining, not one bit. Better to have trim on there and take care of those SSDs than to not. Now let's see how long it takes to open up Final Cut with trim support. Click start. Doesn't look like it slowed down that much. And last but not least, trim support Disk speed Micron 1100 via PCIe 4. I still got my decent write speed. Read speed seems to have dropped a little bit. Alright guys, we're back. It is another day. I've been playing around with the Micron 1100 inside my 2010 Mac Pro, and here are my thoughts on it. It seems to be a pretty decent SSD. I mean, I know it's only been a day, but I mean, it's operating just fine. Through trim support on there, everything seems to be golden. All of the apps are opening up fast. So I don't care about the fact that, you know, it boots up slower now that it's in trim support. But as far as the drive is concerned, I think the drive is actually amazing. It's awesome for the price. Are you kidding me? I got it on eBay. It was like $294. They had one of those or best offer. So I offered $285 and got it for $285. So a 2 terabyte SSD drive for $285, you can't go wrong. And like I mentioned, the Micron 1100 is pretty much the carbon copy of the Crucial MX300. It's made by the same company. Micron owns Crucial. So if you're a little hesitant about picking up one of these Micron drives, just remember that. All right, I got some more information I need to share with you guys about this drive. Pardon me a minute. Sorry I'm making this video so long. I just want to get you all the information that you need. Okay, the first thing that I noticed, my write speeds are faster than my read speeds. Now in the world of SSDs, that shouldn't be the case. Your read speed should always be faster than your write speeds. So something a little screwy is going on there. I don't know if it has something to do with the Micron drive. I don't know if it's the PCIe adapter or if it's the age of my machine. But from what I'm seeing, and you saw it too, for some reason the write speeds are faster than the read speeds. Now I thought that maybe I could do a firmware update to the drive and maybe that will resolve the issue. So I went onto Micron's site, and the only problem with that is all the software that they offer for monitoring this drive and updating the firmware, it's all for Windows or Linux, nothing for Mac. So my Mac friends out there, that's something you might want to take into consideration. There's no way to update the firmware. Now I'm hoping that the firmware is pretty much up to date, considering that it looks like the last firmware patch was back in 2016 when the drive came out, and it's 2018 now. So hopefully it is up to date, but I have no way of checking because it's only on Windows and Linux. So if that type of thing doesn't really bother you, I would still say you're golden. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm happy. The computer is still zipping, so just want you guys to have that information. I think it's gonna be cool. I mean, I'm happy. I'm glad I picked it up, and just the difference in working with an SSD with your OS on it in comparison to an HDD, this is like leaps and bounds, like way better. So I don't know, look into it, check it out, read the reviews, do the homework yourself. But I hope this video helped you out. And if you're gonna throw it in one of these old cheese grater Macs, I highly recommend that you pick this guy up. PCIe adapter. This is the one by OWC. This video is not sponsored. Other companies make these, but I highly recommend picking this up so that you'll get the full, true 6G out of the SSD instead of getting only 3G in your SATA II slots. That's pretty much it. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, go ahead and give it a big old thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, you can do so by clicking the little button below the video here. Just click on it, that'll get you subscribed, but make sure you click that bell so you'll be notified every time I upload new videos. And until the next one, this is PJ the Great saying Audi 5000G.